Welcome back into the Rounding Third Baseball Podcast, episode 211, Early Leaders from Around the League. I'm Nick, and we have Harrison tonight. How are we doing, Harrison?
I am fantastic, Nick. The Red Sox are absolutely pummeling the Cardinals 16-2 right now. It's been fun to watch, and it's been a good weekend. So all good here. How you doing?
Speechless right now, to be completely honest. 16 runs in 6 innings. It's must have been like Yankees felt on their home opener when they just went absolute ham on the Brewers. But
yeah, what is that? Is that 8 doubles now in the game for the Red Sox? Just lighting up the monster.
Yeah, crazy. All right, we'll get into it, but before we do, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have links to our affiliate sponsors. So you can find these links at the top of all of our socials. You click on it and shop through these companies. Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. We get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you, and it's a great way to support the podcast. So please use those links, and thank you to everyone who already has. We also have our merch. You can find this on Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, phone cases, tumblers. We have it all. So go on there, check it out. Another great way to support us and to get our name out there.
Yeah, you know a t-shirt would look great. Weather's getting warm. Time to get some short sleeves on.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. Early league leaders. So we'll start right off the top here. This is through, I don't have today's stats in. So this is through Saturday. But home run leaders, Aaron Judge was 6, Suarez, and kind of a shocker here for me is Tommy Edman with 5 this week. Well, 4 this week. He had the one in Japan that also counts. But yeah, I mean, Judge, no surprise. But with 6 home runs in a week, what do you think his chances are of reaching his mark of 62 or surpassing it?
I mean, I think we said it in the kind of the prediction show and going all through spring training. He absolutely is primed to go after 62 again. And I think he could do it. I mean, I think he continues to get better. He continues to get better in his approach. The question is always health with him. Is he going to be on the field enough? And I don't know that losing Juan Soto hurts him. You know, we went over this before. Like Judge backed up Soto. Soto benefited from Judge. Judge didn't benefit from Soto. He wasn't getting the benefit of having Soto behind him. He wasn't getting the benefit of Soto even necessarily being on base.
Well, RBI totals maybe, but not like approach to the pro.
Yeah, he didn't get pitched to differently because Soto was in the lineup because Soto batted in front of him. Right. So a loss of Soto, I don't think changes Judge's approach or how he's pitched to. And honestly, like it probably doesn't matter who's batting behind him because you just can't pitch to this guy in general. Right. You make any kind of mistake, as we've seen, and it goes a long way. So I think this is the season for him to make another run at a ridiculous home run total.
Yeah, and I mean, Judge can go 4 games without a home run, and you're like, oh man, like he's not going to do it. And then all of a sudden he turns around and hits 3 in a game, and you're like, never mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like he has that ability to hit 4 home runs in a game. Like it's crazy. This guy is as a Sox fan, it hurts to watch him be as successful as he is. But as a baseball fan, man, it is a blast to watch this guy at the plate. I mean, he rarely swings at bad pitches. His knowledge of the strike zone has only gotten better, to your point, and he just crushes baseballs, man. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy what he does, and it's to all fields. It's all times in the game, close, late. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You make a mistake to this guy, it travels a long way. And when he's locked in, he doesn't miss much.
No. And then Suarez, like I'm going to bring up my Diamondbacks here for a minute. Like he's had an incredible week. You know, he had 4 home runs in the first 4 games. He's kind of cooled off a little bit since. But that's Suarez. Like Suarez is here now. He probably won't be near the top towards the end of the season. But he could be. He's got the power to be. He's just really, really streaky. That's Suarez's issue there. But
yeah, but boy, did he have a good start. Last year, he was terrible through like the All-Star game.
Yep.
And the Diamondbacks continue to play well enough while he figured it out. But boy, is it to have him start off like this, that is such a huge boost.
Yeah. And they lost 2 out of 3 against the Nationals this weekend. That was a tough series for them.
Those were tough.
All 1-run games, and they lost Marte, which we'll get to later. But
Yep.
And then Tommy Edman here with 5. Now, he benefits a lot from being in that lineup. Like, let me put that out there. But Tommy Edman's a pretty dang good baseball player. The dude plays everywhere on the field. He's great defensively, and his approach at the plate from both sides is pretty fun to watch too. Again, on the hated Dodgers, I get it, but he gets a lot of benefit being in that lineup, and being in baseball for as long as we have. Hitting is contagious.
Yep.
And that Dodgers lineup rakes, and it's contagious, and he's caught fire. I mean, 5 home runs to start the season.
Yeah, and he hits kind of all over that order. I mean, he at one point for a little while he was hitting 4th, and then he dropped back to 6 or 7. And he's in a spot in that order where he's going to come up a lot of times with guys on base. He's going to get pitched to because they're not really afraid of him. And he's a good professional hitter. He works counts, and he doesn't swing a lot of bad pitches. And when you make mistakes to him, he does have enough power to take them out.
Yeah.
And we've seen him get into stretches before. Late last season, he got into one where he just hit a bunch of home runs, and you're like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
But he's always had those power streaks in his game.
Yeah.
And he's probably the most underrated or underappreciated player on that roster. They picked him up by a trade last year. It was kind of like, what are you going to get from this guy? Who knows? And he's not flashy. He doesn't put up huge numbers, but like he just does a lot of things.
Yeah, that playoff run last year for him was ridiculous. I mean, NLCS MVP, like wild. It's just another weapon for the Dodgers to have. But yeah, those are your home run leaders to after the first week here. So
let's keep in mind too, Tommy Evans' career home run and career high in home runs is 13. So 5 is a lot in a short window of time for this guy.
Here comes the Profar drug test then.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, I misplayed that one badly. All right. Yeah, sorry to everybody watching. We are kind of live watching the Red Sox shellacking of the Cardinals here too, so we'll be kind of bouncing back and forth. But all right, your RBI leaders. Obviously, Aaron Judge with all the home runs he's hit, 17. He's got Kyle Tucker with 12, and Anthony Torpedo Bat Volpe with 12.
Well, Volpe's also 4th on the home run list with the 4 he's got. So
yeah, man, Kyle Tucker has proven that he's comfortable in Chicago. He is hitting in that lineup. He's playing really well, like we knew he would. I mean, Kyle Tucker's got that game where he'd fit in with any team he's put on.
yeah, I mean, every team would enjoy seeing him in the lineup.
Yeah.
And he did today hit his first Wrigley Field home run, which that was a big deal. The fans went nuts, understandably so.
Yeah,
their Cubs fans are more excited about him than they've been excited about a player in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are your RBI leaders so far. Your OBP leaders. So I actually left out batting average for a reason, because I think we're going to start seeing the trend where OBP is kind of taking over the batting average trend here. Since batting averages are tanking and OBP is kind of up, I think this is what teams are kind of looking for at this moment. And again, like I said, this is through Saturday. So Wilyer Abreu's 621 on base percentage is probably higher, which is crazy. This dude didn't play game 1 of the doubleheader today, then gets up in a pinch hit situation, draws a walk, hits a walk-off double. So that went up. This game, this nightcap, he's had a couple hits in this one too. This guy, nobody knows about yet. And if you haven't heard about him, you soon will, because he should have been more consideration for the Rookie of the Year last year. The season he put up for the Sox last year was incredible, and this start is wild as Red Sox fans watching him come up to the plate, and you're just like, all right, what's he gonna do now? Oh, just another home run. Okay. Oh, base hit in the gap. Okay, great. This kid's a stud. Gold glove, cannon for an arm. We got to sign him soon.
Yeah, it's. I mean, as a Red Sox fan, like I didn't really know who he was until like May or June. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, where did he come from? And he proceeded to have a great season, won a Gold Glove. Got some consideration, but not enough for Rookie of the Year last year. Then there's all the talk this spring with Roman Anthony, and is Abreu the odd man out? And is he going to start with the big club? And he's had a massive first week to start the season. Just to remind us that, hey guys, I'm still out here and I still play right field for the Red Sox. Just letting you know that I'm still here.
Crazy. Will Smith of the Dodgers, 594, and then another Red Sox coming in third by 1/1000th of a point. 515 is Christian Campbell. It's probably gone down a little bit after today, but
it has. So he's down to 463. He's now in 8th.
Yeah.
But Will Abreu has the highest batting average in baseball right now at 519. His OBP is up to 629. Will Smith's in second, and then George Springer's now in third.
Okay. So yeah. Is he related to Bobby? I don't believe there's any relation.
I don't believe so
there.
Either.
Yeah, he was not on a lot of people's radar, but he's been a blast to watch in this first week and a half for sure.
I'm a Red Sox fan. He wasn't on my radar.
Yeah,
it was
right.
I was like, who is this guy? Like, we didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
He came over via trade, I want to say, the year before.
He did, and I can't remember who we shipped out.
I can't remember which trade it was in, but he came over via trade. There wasn't a lot said about it. He kind of had an okay stretch in the minor leagues. And then all of a sudden he's in the lineup, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then he had a monster season, so it worked out.
Yeah. I was trying to find...
He was, unlike the big three that we're talking about all the time in the media, like Abreu had no fanfare. He just kind of came through and then had a great season.
Yeah. All that's coming up right now are all the trade rumors from the offseason, but you can't find which trade he went over with, but
he would be an incredibly valuable trade chip right now.
Yeah, no, keep him, please.
I don't think you trade him, but you get a lot for him right now.
Yep, absolutely. All right, your hits leaders. Again, this was through Saturday, so I don't have today's stats in here, but Fernando Tatis with 14, Riley Green with, that's supposed to be 13, Tucker and Frelick with 13. Yeah, Riley Green's in second with 12, and then Tucker and Frelick in third with 13. Yeah, typo. My bad.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, these are kind of guys that you would kind of expect to be at the top there. Yep. Tatis has had a great start for him and the Padres. I mean, we all know they went 7-0. They've lost the last couple though. So they're coming back down to earth. But I mean, Riley Green's a beast in Detroit. He's got a lot of green to get some base hits out there. And then
Sure
Tucker
does.
And then Sal Frelick with 13. So
yeah, so real-time update. Bregman and Tucker are tied with 15.
Yeah, well, no, Bregman had 15 today.
I know. He's 5 today. Is it 5 or 6 today?
Don't know.
A lot. He's at a lot today. And then it's Abreu, Jose Altuve, Sal Frelick, Jackson Merrill, Tyler Soderstrom, and Fernando Tatis in third with 14.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, Bregman's gotten them all today. Like he wasn't even on the radar for this list yesterday.
No. Crazy. Yeah. So I mean, how are you feeling about the Padres right now?
I mean, they came back to beat the Cubs today, which was, I think, good for them because they had a couple of rough games to start with them. But I think the Padres, I looked at the Padres the same way as I did the Orioles. Great core. Did they do enough this offseason to stay competitive? And I think what we're seeing in the early stage is that they're still fine. They are running it back with basically the same group minus Profar, who's not that big a loss. And honestly, now is out for half the season because the Peds doesn't really matter. But I think that Padres team is really good. They're still really good. And we expected them and the D-backs to battle for second place, and I don't see anything changing there. I just think the Padres are better than expected because that core is still just that good.
Yeah. You mean Devers isn't on there? Yeah. Not yet, but he had a monster day today. He has 2 doubles high off the monster, deep. He had like 3 or 4 hits off the monsters, but he
4
hit
hits
him
tonight.
he hit him so hard that it just came off the monster too quick. He couldn't get to second base on him, but he looks like he's back for sure. John, I love this. Can we start a weekly segment where we try to guess your hat? Yeah, this one's a fun one. Let's see.
I don't even know half of them, John. So
this is the Rome Emperors. So it's an emperor penguin with a baseball on it. They are the single A affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. So if we start this segment, it's just going to make me buy more minor league hats. So thanks for that, John. I already have a obsession with that. So my wife's going to love that when one rolls in the mail every week. Anywho.
Yeah, let's keep Nick alive for a little bit longer, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, if she hasn't killed me yet, I think I'll be fine. But
that's true.
All right. Moving on. Pitching strikeout leaders. Jesus Luzardo with 19, Yamamoto with 19, Wheeler with 18, Gilbert and Gore rounding it out with 18. How many do I have? Like north of 65, I think.
He literally has a hat closet. He's got a whole closet in his house just full of hats.
Yeah.
Like there are people that collect shoes. Nick collects hats.
Yep. So, yeah. What are we thinking about these starts? Let's cover it.
Well, I think it's worth noting here that Yamamoto's got 3 starts in that number.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody else has got 2. So his 19 is a little misleading. He's got an extra start than everybody else has. But I mean, I think you look at right off the bat, it's Luzardo and Wheeler, who we said the Phillies had one of the best pitching staffs in baseball.
Yep.
And I thought Luzardo was a big reason for that because he's so good. We haven't seen enough of him. We know who Wheeler is. So you got 2 Phillies at the top. No surprise. I don't think Yamamoto stays there. When you normalize this for the number of starts, he falls off. Logan Gilbert, obviously one of the best pitchers in baseball. Mackenzie Gore, though, is a guy who has had potential for years and just hasn't been able to get there. And he finally looks healthy. And he finally looks good. The stuff is still there. And I think that this is – do I think he's going to stay there all year? No. But I think it's very promising he's getting off such a good start because he is the future for the Nationals when it comes to a potential ace.
Agree. And he's one of the products in the Soto deal. So they're starting to actually like reap some of that trade. So yeah, Captain, I see you.
Yeah, we're with you on that. Yeah, I don't want
absolutely.
Nike sneakers. Give me hats.
Yeah. What's our opinion on Jazz Chisholm Jr.?
Go, Nick.
I don't know if I have one really. I mean, I think we were all really excited when he came up with the Marlins. He was flash. He was backing it up. Like he was hitting balls out of the ballpark. He was hitting balls in the gap and speeding around the bases. When he got to New York, I think it was a unique fit at first, but I think he's finding his stride on that team, and fitting in really well on that lineup. And all the torpedo bats aside, I don't care what these guys use. If they want to bring an oak tree up to bat, like I don't care. But I mean, Jazz is a great player. Like you either hate Jazz or you love him because of his antics. But it seems like since he's been in New York with the influence of Judge, he's toned it down a little bit than when he was with the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. I think Jazz Chisholm is a guy who brings a lot of hype to himself. He's a lot of sizzle, not a lot of steak. He can play the game. I think what we're seeing in New York is he doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to be an important part of that team. He can just go out there and play baseball. In Miami, he was the show. Like it was, people came to see him. He was the ringleader. The team wasn't good. No support around him. He put up some numbers, but they were wildly inconsistent. In New York, he can just go play baseball. And around that group of kind of seasoned professionals, they're going to keep him from getting way out of control. I find Jazz to be incredibly obnoxious because just like Randy Arozarena, these are guys that act like they're Aaron Judge when they aren't. They don't have the numbers to back up what they say. They pimp home runs that don't matter in games that don't matter. They drive me crazy. But there's a place for them in this game. And I think that Jazz brings some excitement and he can be fun. But I think he's one of the more overrated guys in baseball. But in that
Yeah.
lineup, he fits in great because he can just go play. He doesn't even have to play well, but he can create chaos with his legs, and he'll hit some home runs there, and he'll play some defense, and he'll make some great plays. But like, I think the overall package of Jazz for me is underwhelming, but I think he's a great fit for that team.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Will someone strike out 300 plus this year? No, I'm going to say no. There's just no way that pitchers get the innings anymore to get 300 plus Ks. That's a lot. I mean, what's the average? 5 2/3 innings are starters averages now. They just don't get the innings to get 300 plus Ks. Doesn't mean someone can't do it, but man, I don't know. That's a lot in this day and age with the way that pitchers are pitching in these games. But with the high strikeout at the plate for batters, I'm kind of going back on it. Possibly. Like it's weird. Like pitchers aren't throwing as many innings, but batters are also striking out at a higher clip. So I don't think it will reach 300. I think it's kind of, I don't know if we'll see that again. I mean, these pitchers are averaging 170, 180 innings a year now. Like they're even talking about not many guys reaching 200 innings on the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, was it Corbin Burns won the Cy Young in Milwaukee with 157 innings pitched, I think?
Yeah. It was the lowest innings total of a Cy Young winner.
Yeah. So
and then Blake Snell won it the next year, averaging 5 2/3 innings pitched, which was the fewest innings per start of any Cy Young pitcher. So
yeah,
we're definitely seeing the trend of specialization continues to ramp up, and these starters are max effort, 5 to 6 innings max. Get in there, be as dominant as you can be, get out, and then all your specialists roll through there. All your guys throwing 100 miles an hour or throwing with weird deliveries or crazy breaking stuff. You're not looking for guys to go 7-8 innings anymore.
No.
And if you're going to make 30 starts and pitch 180 innings, I mean, you need to be at like a 15 K per 9 ratio, which would be the highest ratio in baseball history. I think Chris Sale's the record holder at 11.9 Ks per 9.
Yeah.
And that only gets you like 250 Ks over that kind of an inning. So I think 300 is a hell of a reach. Could somebody do it? Yeah, I think you've got a few guys that could do it. I look at a guy like Garrett Crochet. He could totally do it. But he's going to need like 10 to 12 strikeouts every game. It's hard to do that in 6 innings.
Yep. Do you think Shohei might get MVP after the first week hitting stats? I mean, he's going to get it anyways. It's Shohei Ohtani.
But, yeah, I mean, he hasn't done anything like spectacular in the first week.
No.
So I mean, there's a probably 25 guys that are off to better starts than him. I don't think the first week will be what caused them to win the MVP. If he comes back and pitches well at some point later this month or in May, like they're saying, and continues to hit, then yeah, I think that he's going to be in the conversation as he always is.
Yeah, he threw a 25 pitch bullpen the other day, I believe. So but they're going to be easy with him. The Dodgers started, obviously, what are they still? They just lost their first 2. So they're like 9-2 now or whatever.
Yeah.
The Dodgers aren't in a rush to get him back. They're going to slow play him. I don't know if we even see him in May, to be honest. So
I mean,
I think they're going to.
There might be a point where it's just like, do we even need to? Like,
yeah,
Jack. I mean, I'm with you. And I've said this the last couple of years. I feel like Shohei Ohtani is insanely overrated. Granted, great baseball player, but like, he's not a Mount Rushmore baseball guy. People want to put in the Hall of Fame now. Like, he's not there. Like, let's not go crazy yet. He's an incredible ball player and one of the top 5 guys in all of the game right now. But there's also like other really, really good ball players that get no attention because everybody just wants to talk about him.
Yeah. I mean, we brought it up last year. Catel Marte should have been in that MVP discussion because the year he put up was crazy. Yes, Ohtani had a 50-50. I get it.
But he's a DH.
Right. But I mean, he's the first guy to ever hit 50-50. I completely understand that. But yeah, and this is it. You'll get stretches of Ohtani like this.
Yep.
1 for 11, 2 walks, right? It's just that one big hit that he always seems to pull out of his back pocket.
Well, it was
which
the walk-off home run the other night. You know,
yeah,
a fastball again over the outer third, and he puts it into left center and walks that game off. He's incredible. He's an incredible ball player, and I don't take anything away from that. But it's just as a baseball fan, I get so tired of the constant focus on one person. Like the game
yeah,
is so much bigger than him. And
yeah,
you know, if you want to pick other players apart, like yeah, he's a DH. He's in a loaded lineup. He's surrounded by Hall of Famers and other All Stars. Like he has it really good. He's hitting leadoff in a lineup. He's followed by Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Like put Aaron Judge in that spot. Put Rafael Devers in that spot, and those guys have put up some incredible numbers. He
yeah,
gets a lot of pitches to hit, but what he's proven is he also gets himself out a lot. And he is somebody you can get out. Once you get a strike on him, he expands the zone significantly.
yeah.
And that's what you saw against the Phillies. He was chasing stuff because once he gets down in the count, he will chase.
Yeah. I do agree with Harrison, and I agree with Cap'n here too. So I agree with kind of both points here. He is the best thing that happened to baseball because of the whole two-way aspect, right? We've never seen it to this degree of ability, right? I mean, yes, you had some pitchers that could rake, right? But not every day like this. You know, Ohtani plays, you know, he's DH in 4 games and then he goes out and starts, you know, has 13 Ks in 7 innings. Like no one was as elite doing both at the same time as Ohtani. So yes, it's brought a huge spotlight to the league, and it has been the best thing for baseball. And they have done a pretty good job marketing him. Everybody in the country knows him. You know, like my wife knows who Shohei Ohtani is. Like, and that's big for baseball because before he came, who was the name that everybody knew? Maybe Mike Trout? Maybe?
I mean, it was probably Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. Those guys were pretty much household names. I mean,
But after that, between Ohtani and Jeter,
it was probably Trout. I mean, at one point, everybody thought it would be somebody like, Bryce Harper, who had been around since Sports Illustrated when he was 16. But Bryce never really had the same impact across the game that others have had. I think the biggest thing for me with Ohtani is pitching or not, because we can debate how valuable his pitching has been. He also brought Japan.
yeah,
Like
right?
he created an international interest in baseball that hadn't been there for a long time. Had we had Japanese players come over, absolutely, but none of them captured the attention of their country like he has.
Yes.
And it also helps that he's won 3 out of the last 4 MVPs. He's legit. Like it's legit. And have his seasons necessarily been MVP seasons? No. But
Not
I think the
all of
impact
them, but
no,
yeah,
but the impact he has is it's hard to underestimate. He has had such a massive impact on baseball and
yeah,
the promotional side of baseball, and bringing the international aspect in. Like there's so much he has done for baseball other than playing that he absolutely has to get credit for.
yeah. And absolutely agree with this point 100%. The lack of two-way does take a lot away from him, right? Because he's strictly a hitter. Like
Yeah.
we're not going to the ballpark every 5 days and seeing him hit. It does take a lot away from his aura, I guess, for the lack of a better word. And that probably comes back when he steps foot on the mound. Like, let's be honest. But yeah, Bonds, Jeter, Ichiro.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, those would be household names that I think like a non-baseball fan would know.
yeah.
Right.
And I think Ichiro started the interest level in Japan, swinging back to MLB, and then like Ohtani took it and pulled the rest of it in. Ichiro started the wave, but didn't quite have the success to pull everybody with him, and then Ohtani came over and brought everybody.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get this.
Yeah.
I get this, Justin. Yeah, 50-50 seasons definitely helps, right? But we were just trying to think of players that like my wife would know, non-baseball people would know. Like who was the last household name before Ohtani? I between Jeter and him, I don't really know. I would have to say it was Trout that should be like, oh, I've heard that name before. But that would literally be it.
Yeah, he would be the guy you would most people would know. I mean, Harper never really took off like that, and Soto was later. But even now, I don't know that Soto's a super well-known guy either. Because Ohtani's everywhere. I mean, he's on. he's all over the place. Like you can't. He's all over social media. He's all over TV ads. Like he's everywhere. You can't get away from Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Well, I give it to my wife. She calls him Shotani, so I go, "That's close enough."
Whatever.
Like, yeah, it works.
You can call him worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you could make an argument that he moved to the NL, but so did everybody else right after him. The NL went from the AL went from clearly the better to the NL flipping that on its head in like a 24-month span.
Crazy.
Because now the NL is so loaded with stars, the AL can't hold a candle.
Yeah, the wild card race every year has been nuts the last two, so it's been awesome.
Yep.
All right, Harrison. Rethinking your predictions after week 1. Are you still sticking with your division winners after watching week 1?
I'm not. I don't think I'm changing any division winners. I still believe it's going to be, and I know this sounds crazy, I still like the Braves in the NL East. They had a rough start, but they are on the way back. Strider threw 5 no-hit innings in his last minor league rehab start, and is expected to be back soon. Acuna comes back soon. Those are huge additions to that team.
Love this.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in New England, Poppy's a guy that everybody knows.
Yeah.
They still think he plays. So, but I still like the Braves in the NL East. I still think it's the Cubs. I still think it's the Dodgers. In the AL, I still think it's the Rangers. I still think it's the Royals, and I still think it's the Red Sox. So I'm not changing any of my division winners at this point. I will say that I think the NL East, I think the Phillies and Braves battle is going to be right to the end. I just don't think the Mets can get there. I don't think the Reds are as far along as I hope they'd be in the Central. And I still believe the best battle in all of baseball might be second place in the NL West between the Padres and Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think I'm keeping mine too. I had the Phillies in the NL East. I like that team. I like what they bring. I had the Cubs in the Central too. I'm probably moving the Reds out of my wild card spot though. They just don't look like they quite have it yet.
Yeah, they're going to be streaky like young teams are.
Yeah. Obviously Dodgers in the NL West. AL East I had Boston. I think I had KC in the Central, and then
you
the
had Detroit.
in the West.
I think you had Detroit.
Oh, well, whatever.
Oh no, maybe Sean had Detroit. You might have.
I think
KC.
Yeah, I did have KC. I'm pretty sure.
I watched a lot of Detroit this weekend. And it's a very good team, but they are feast or famine.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to be in the right position for Hinch to pull the right strings, and sometimes they just don't quite get to that position. But Braves had a rough start. Yeah, but they faced arguably the two best teams in the league at that point. Like
I mean, the Braves started off against the two longest running undefeated teams this season.
Yeah,
and they played tight games against them. It was a tough start. They drew a difficult start on the road, on the West Coast, against those two teams in their home ballparks. Not a great way to start the season.
No. Are you still sticking with your MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year picks after week 1?
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Whit and Tucker for MVP. I'm still sticking with Crochet. Maybe, I mean, I still like Burns overall. Rookie year picks. Dylan Cruz has been a complete mess in this first week.
Well, at least he's in the big leagues. My guy's still in AAA. So
yeah. So I do feel like Shaw in Chicago's not. He might be the Rookie of the Year front runner right now. I'm not giving up on Dylan Cruz, but he had a really miserable start to the week. Did he finally get a hit this weekend? I feel like he did.
I don't know.
He's made some great plays in the field, but he wasn't hitting anything. So I guess I'm going to stick with my picks, but I am mentioning the fact that I think that my pick of Dylan Cruz Rookie of the Year might be a bad pick, and it might actually be Shaw with the Cubs.
Yeah, I had Catel Marte as my NL MVP. I'm definitely switching that out. Unfortunately, he's on the IL. I think that kind of takes away from that.
What's do they release the grade of the sprain, or is it just
I think he's just on the 10-day, so
okay.
hopefully he'll be back soon. But I still love the guy. He's my, like I've said numerous times, he's my favorite player to watch. But I think it's Ohtani until it's not, which is crazy. But so I might have to switch it to there. AL MVP is, I said Bobby Witt. He's kind of had a slow-ish start, but had a great day today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's again, it's judge until it's not. Can't even remember who I had for AL Cy Young, but
Bueller.
No, I did. Yeah, and I'm definitely changing that. He hasn't come out as sharp as I thought he was going to. And he's definitely lost some velocity on his fastball after watching his first two starts. He's still pitching like he has that velocity, and he's just not getting away with the misses like he was earlier in his career. I still think he turns it around. I still think Bueller will be better than what he has shown these first two starts, but I'm with you, Harrison. I think it's Crochet's to have. That dude is lights out right now.
Yeah, he is. He's been incredible.
And then my rookie of the year pick in the NL isn't even up in the bigs yet. So Jordan Lawler's not even on the team yet. So we will see.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a lot of push to try to get him on the team. I think they took the same road they did with the Red Sox did with Marcelo Mayer and Roman Anthony and just said, look, we could put you on the team right now, but we don't have to. Let's give you a little more time.
And there's nowhere to play him, really.
Well, Perdomo's healthy and you've signed him. Like, he's your guy. You don't, and you're not going to put him at second base because Catel Marte is there. Although maybe you will now if Catel Marte is going to be out for any length of time.
Yeah, but I don't see it.
No.
All right. So let's go through some of the news stories of the week. Dodgers first loss Friday night. So with runners on first and third, Ohtani was on first and was caught stealing with 2 outs in the 8th inning, down 3-0, taking the bats out of Mookie Betts' hand. Is this Dave Roberts over managing, or was this the right move to send Ohtani?
I actually don't know that Dave Roberts had anything to do with that. So from what I read on Twitter, I can't remember who put it out there. I believe Shohei Ohtani has kind of a
green light,
do as you please green light. And if he thinks, kind of the understanding being, you think you can get it, take it. And I don't believe Dave Roberts called that steal. I believe Ohtani ran on his own. If Ohtani ran on his own, that shows a lack of baseball awareness to run in that situation. If Dave Roberts calls it, it shows managerial, ineptitude, because you don't steal in that spot. You don't take the bat out of Mookie Betts' hands. You just don't. You just that is unless you go in there standing up, you don't take that base. You let the man hit. It was a terrible decision. Whoever it was.
I agree with that, but are we only talking about it because he's out? Would we have been saying the opposite? Have been like, oh, what a great decision to get 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs with Mookie Betts up. Now a base hit drives in 2, and they're only chasing 1 in the 9th. Like, I can somewhat defend the attempt. And Ohtani is like 94% successful in his career on stolen bases. He just happened to be the 6%.
Yep.
So, yes, it looks awful because he's out. But if he's safe, we're not talking about it at the same time. And we'd have been like, oh, what a heads up play to get 2 runners in scoring position for Betts. Like, I can see both sides of the coin.
Well, that's the beauty of baseball. It's
right.
If you're a hero or a zero. And in that situation, it all comes down to the risk. Is it worth getting the extra base to potentially get thrown out in the inning? Because honestly, the second run doesn't matter at all until you get the first run.
That's facts.
And when you've got Mookie Betts up, who's been arguably your hottest hitter the last few days, with first and third 2 outs, there's absolutely no need to get that extra base. You got to get that first run in first. Not only that, but Mookie Betts also may just leave the yard and tie it up. But now you've taken 100% of the opportunity away.
Jordan Walker just robbed a home run from Tristan Casas. That was sick. Damn, it would have made it
Oh, man.
19-3.
Yikes. Cassis can't buy one right now.
No, that's
and I think it's a fair point in the chat. Real Muto can still throw. Like you're not running against some scrub catcher.
Yeah.
Realmuto got a good pitch to throw on and hosed him. Like it was a perfect throw.
Yeah.
So yes, if Ohtani's safe, it's oh my goodness, that was such a great play. But that's the beauty of baseball. You're either a hero or a zero. But it comes down to are you willing to take the risk at that point in the ball game? And to me, the extra base isn't worth anything taking Mookie Betts' at bat away.
Yeah, and what you just said like piggybacks this comment by Captain. Like I hate seeing teams run themselves out of innings. It's baseball 101. Yeah, and that's what it is. Like you need a couple runs. You need a few runs, and running yourself out of an inning and not even scratching one across is not a good baseball move for sure.
If Max Muncy's up and you want to run, go ahead because there's a high likelihood Muncy doesn't come through. But it's Mookie Betts. Like it's Mookie Betts at the plate.
Right. It's future Hall of Famer, Mookie Betts.
Right. To me, and we can debate the Ohtani thing all you want. To me, Mookie Betts is the best player on that team. All around, overall, period. I won't even argue about it. He's the best player on that team. You don't take the bat away from him.
No.
You don't. If you want to take away from Max Muncy, I don't care. You want to take away from Miguel Rojas, please do. But you don't take it from Mookie Betts.
Yep. Amen, brother. Preach it. Absolutely.
That's if that was Ohtani's decision, it was a lack of awareness on his part. If it was Robert's decision, it was a managerial mistake. But you do not take the risk in that situation.
Yo, news flash, breaking news. Willie Abreu just struck out.
Oh, he finally got out. Oh, look at that. Yep, there he goes.
Wow. Crazy.
John, I like Moneyball. Don't steal, don't risk any potential out. I mean, there is something to be said for that. You are looking for low risk moves. Yeah. And that was that's how Billy Beane built that team. We have to de-risk the game as much as we can and play as safe as possible. Get on base, give ourselves chances, move guys around, but don't give outs away because you only get 27 of them. I mean, I get the theory, and it works for some.
Right. It works when you're kind of lacking talent in different areas, like A's kind of
when you can't afford to give up an out because you don't have that much talent. Yeah, I get that. You've got to play a little more conservatively. Yeah. And Evan, I agree to a point. I think very few teams do play situational baseball anymore, but I do think we're seeing it come back.
Yes.
I think we're seeing more running. I think we're seeing more hitting and running. I think we're seeing more
I've trying to move guys around. Lately. I've seen some bunts lately.
We had a walk-off bunt the other night. Yeah. I think we're seeing situational baseball come back because you now have some more. I think you have some more flexibility to do it, but also when you've got guys coming from the bullpen throwing 100 plus, you got to do something. Yeah. You got to get creative.
Yeah. Cincinnati Reds scoreless streak ends at 35 innings. The scoring drought lasted my entire work week, Monday through Friday. 35 innings, not scoring a single run.
And it wasn't like it was close. It wasn't like they were leaving a bunch of guys on third base. Like they had nothing going on for 5 games.
Yeah, Ellie hit those 2 home runs in that game, and then I think that was it for 35 innings. Like
that was it.
Brutal.
That was it. They were like 0 for a bazillion with runners in scoring position, but like I don't think they got a runner to third for the first like almost 30 innings of that.
I also noticed that Francona wasn't managing. They had an acting manager on the bench, so I don't know if he was out this week for whatever reasons. I didn't end up looking it up, but I noticed there was an acting manager coming out to take the ball, unless he got ejected, which could have been the case as well. He could have been tossed.
Yes, I don't remember him being out. I guess I'll have to look, but I don't remember him being out. I think he might have been either out or just had sent somebody else out to get the ball. But
gotcha.
Oh, he was sick. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
It's that flu that's flying around. He was out. He did miss a game. Sick.
Okay. All right. So that's what it was. But yeah.
Yeah.
So it's ended. The Reds have scored. Everybody can breathe now. But like I said, I am taking them out of my wild card spot. I don't think they get one. They're just not quite there. They're not quite ready, which is a shame.
Yeah, that's a tough scoreless streak, Evan. Real tough scoreless streak.
Yeah, sorry about that, bud.
Yeah.
You might want to be on a different website than this one.
No, but I mean, please stay and hang out with us. But
Oh
you
yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah,
jump
for
something
sure, for
afterwards,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I do think you're right here on the small market teams. I think there are some more small market teams getting more creative, trying to do what they can with what they've got.
yeah.
And that's where you're seeing more situational baseball. You're seeing more stolen bases. You're seeing them put a premium on speed, guys with bat control. The sack. I've seen a ton of sack flies, and guys that are clearly going up trying to hit the sack fly versus trying to hit a home run.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as we complained about the pitch clock when it was first implemented and we're being like, what are they doing? They're changing the game. Like, it has kind of sparked that kind of situational baseball where we are seeing stolen bases. We are seeing hitters hit it to the right side to get them to third base because they got, a guy coming up, that Aaron Judge behind them, that can drive them in with less than 2 outs, right? So we are starting to see a little bit of that because of the pitch clock. I think the pitch clock's another reason why we're starting to see some situational baseball. It's almost like forcing teams to do it. So kind of another pro for the pitch clock, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I hope at some point we're realizing that runs are hard to score in this league, and these pitches are hard to get to. If you've got a chance to make something happen, you need to take it.
Yeah, agree.
You can't just wait for the 3-run home run because they're not coming. They're so hard to get.
Yep. All right, Snopening Day in Colorado. So I don't know if you saw this, but absolute blizzard out in Colorado. Well, not a blizzard, but it was snowing pretty hard for the first day in Colorado. So pretty cool. I mean, it seems like there's always one snow game every opening day. I think a couple of years ago, Cincinnati had one. Detroit had one a couple of years ago. Where
I feel like Cleveland had one at one point too. Like they pop up.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I remember tuning into the Tigers game. And they're like, all right, Miguel Cabrera steps up to the plate, and you're like,
yeah, we think,
how can you even tell, man? Like through the telecast, you couldn't see through the snow.
Yeah, it could be anybody up there. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, so pretty.
Well,
cool.
that was against the A's, right? Because they were talking to Tyler Soderstrom, who was obviously he's from Arizona, playing in California, like never seen snow, and he was talking about how cool it was to get a chance to, not only see the snow but play in it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, Mike Trout. So after asking if Mike Trout was done last week in our overreactions, he just shuts us up and hits a homer in 3 straight games.
Dude, I'm telling you, these guys watch the pod. Like they're watching us, and then they're reacting to it. Like we've called out managers and they've gone and done things differently. We've called out players and they've performed. Like, you're welcome, Mike Trout. That was all us.
Yeah. It's good to see him kind of back. Now, we need him to stay healthy to see what Mike Trout still has. Because when Mike Trout is good, baseball is fun to watch. And really, that's the only thing the Angels have going for them, because they are tough to watch.
I mean, they've gotten off to a decent start. They've gotten some pitching. Jorge Soler hit. I watched a bunch of the Angels over the weekend. I watched the game last night, and Trout hit a home run. Soler hit a missile. They've gotten some good pitching. They're hitting in stretches. Mike Trout looks really good. He's got a pep in his step. He's got some jump. He's running. It's, I think we said they're not a playoff team, but they're also not a doormat anymore.
Yeah,
they're at least worth watching again, which is a lot to say for where they've been.
I mean, I agree with that point. I just find myself, I can't get into the game. Like there's a lot of team around the league that I can just drop in and watch a few innings and I'm invested. But Angels games, I just haven't been able to get in and really get into the game, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's just something about them that I just can't bring myself to get into.
Well, I think it's hard to get into the Angels games because there hasn't been much to watch. Like Trout's been out for so long that you just kind of lose interest in them. And I do feel like they're one of those teams that the presentation, the play-by-play and the presentation on TV just isn't good. It's really kind of monotone and boring. They're not an easy team to watch, and they also play late, so it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I do think as a team they are better, and they're not a joke. And to the point in the chat, my Guardians had a rough start. Yeah, and the Angels were part of why. Right. But Tanner Bybee got lit up yesterday. Got hit hard. Like everything was hit hard. And the Guardians, we've been saying all along, like they're the kind of dark horse in the Central to win that division because we just don't know what to expect out of them. Early returns, though, are not great.
Yeah, they're not.
I don't like a lot of what they're doing. Jose Ramirez has been terrible. He's hitting. He's got 3 errors. He dropped a pop fly, booted the ball the other night. Like he looks lost out there, and it's not like Jose Ramirez.
So he's on pace for the reverse 30-30, like Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's 3 errors already, and they've been bad. Like not pretty. Huh. And Forrest, we'll I mean, I'm happy to say it, Bob. You should sell the Pirates. Like the Pirates need new ownership. That team is not going anywhere without a new owner. But I do think, Forrest, we should consider trying to raise the capital and make an offer to buy the Pirates.
Whoa, wait. I was just going to say, I thought we were in on the Twins. Twins or Pirates? Which one are we taking?
Do you want Skeens or do you want the hot mess that is Minnesota?
I'll take the Pirates hands down.
Yeah, done.
I'll take the most beautiful bark in the MLB right now and Paul Skeens and turn that place around.
Yeah.
And more of a historical franchise than the Twins.
And maybe sign a contract or two,
Yeah. But
Evan,
sorry. Go ahead.
You're killing me, man.
I know. Oh my God.
Stop clicking buttons. All right. Evan, this is an interesting point and one that we've debated. The whole Mike Trout thing. You say it's awesome he hasn't chased money and rings and he's been loyal. And I tend to feel the same way. Like I like the fact that he's committed to that city, that ball club, that organization. He's stuck around. At the same time, I think he's cost himself an opportunity to be on competitive teams. I think he's cost himself an opportunity to be on the biggest platform in baseball. And I think that also hurts baseball to not have Mike Trout in the World Series, for example. Right. I think this is a double-edged sword. I can appreciate his loyalty, but at the same time, what he's cost himself and baseball, I think, is pretty significant. And I struggle with whether or not that at the end of the day, that's really a good thing or not.
Yeah, it's hard to say he didn't chase the money. He got paid 10 years, $400 million. I mean, he didn't really have to chase it. It just kind of fell in his lap.
Yeah, I mean, he got it before anybody else.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I was really going to make that point right now is it's really not great. And Harrison, you kind of said it too. Like him being on a non-competitive team is not good. I mean, with him and Ohtani, they still weren't competitive. And that, I mean, if you can't win with two of the best baseball players we've had in the last 25 years, that's an issue. That's either organizational issue, that's team construct issue. I don't know, but it's an issue. If you can't win with Trout and Ohtani, can you even win? The answer to that is no. So
well, it's hard because you had Trout and Ohtani and that was it. Like you signed Rendon to be the third guy in the trio and he never played.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Rendon's got one of the 5 largest contracts this year, and the guy's not going to play an inning.
It's brutal, but yeah, I don't know. It is bad for baseball.
And Evan, you're right. We've got the Dodgers are a great example of guys that are just going and chasing rings. Oh man, this inning is not over.
Yeah, it's 18-7 now.
Wow,
they're coming back.
This inning is not over. And you're right. We complain a lot about people chasing rings, especially in baseball right now, because we're seeing guys go to the Dodgers for less money just because they want a ring chase. And I can appreciate that. But I do think that it would be awesome to see Mike Trout on a team that mattered in the World Series. And it's Anaheim. You can call yourself the Los Angeles Angels. You can call yourself the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You can call yourself the California Angels. You're in Anaheim. You're in a third-tier market. That is the redheaded stepchild of California, and the little brother of LA. It's not a market that is going to it's not going to garner a lot of attention because it doesn't warrant it.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about him.
I know
possibly being traded to the Phillies numerous times. I think every single year we've been on the podcast, we've been like, "Oh, is this the year Trout goes to Philly?" Yeah, being from Jersey, being a huge Eagles fan that he is, like he obviously has ties to Philly. But again, in the same breath, we've talked about how he's said he's a family man. His family's settled in California. Like he doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't want to do all that. He doesn't want to really be in the spotlight of the MLB. Like, he's happy showing up to the ballpark and then going home to his family after. And that's his right. It really is. As much as us fans don't like that, like, it's his right to make that decision. I'm going to go get my $4 million a game and go home and give it to my family. And that's it. That's all I really need to do. That's all I want to do. And that's fine. We hate it because we can see the potential of Mike Trout and what he would look like in the postseason on a winning team. But we're just not gonna. And that's that.
Yeah, and that's the one part in all this that we forget, is that these are people. You know, they have lives outside of baseball. Baseball is a job. As Rendon reminded us, baseball is a job. They get up in the morning, they have breakfast with their families, they go through normal life, they go to the ballpark, they play a game, they win, they lose, they perform well, they don't, they go home. To that same family. Like, these are people with lives, and he doesn't want to uproot his family. His kids are young, they're settled in that area, and he doesn't want to go anywhere. And that's okay. You know, that was Freddie Freeman for a long time, until he decided that maybe I should go somewhere else. And looked at LA. But he was, and Freddie's a similar kind of guy. Game's over, he goes home. Gets up in the morning with, there's all kinds of videos of him taking him in the offseason, hitting into the net with his son in his backyard.
Yeah.
Like, these are people. And to some of these guys, winning a ring just isn't that high on their priority list.
Yeah. But it's also helps when you're making $2,500 every at bat. But
yeah, well, it's the same people that say, like, you know, geez, I wish I had all of Elon Musk money. Maybe that's a bad example right now. Like, are you willing to do what Elon Musk did to earn it? Like, maybe not. Like, there's not that many people willing to put in that work or make that sacrifice to get to that level.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't want to. It's not that important to him, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to Justin Verlander. Surrendered 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, had 2 Ks in his 2 1/3 of an innings in his Friday night debut with the Giants. So, to jumpstart Verlander, I'll ask this, Harrison. Is Verlander done?
I mean, he's my comeback player of the year choice. I don't think he's done. His stuff was good. His location was not. I mean, we have to keep in mind the fact that he's also 40 something.
Yeah.
He's going to have days like this. He's not the same guy he was 5 years ago. I mean, that's for sure. But he's better than what he saw, and his stuff was better than what happened. So I'm not in the point where I think he's done yet. I think he's going to have a good season. He's definitely not the Verlander of old. If you're expecting a guy to go out there and shove, it's not who he is anymore. But I think he's a guy kind of like Walker Buehler, who is still adjusting to what his new reality is. And we'll get better. Verlander always gets better as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And I expect we'll see the same out of him, but not a promising start. But the stuff is still there. He just has to make some adjustments.
Yeah, and I mean, he's in the right ballpark to be successful. That ballpark's massive. You know, I mean, you got Comerica and you got this one. They're probably the 2 best pitcher parks. And there we go, finally. So yeah, I think he's in a great ballpark. It just, kind of a rough start. Probably got high in the pitch count there, but I didn't get to see any of the start, just saw the results of it. But hopefully, me asking if he's done, he'll go out and throw a no-hitter, kind of like Trout going the next 3 games with a home run. So, yeah, I think the Giants are better than people are giving them credit for as well.
They are. And, we questioned it throughout the offseason. Like, how good is this team? Are they, obviously they're a victim of the division that they're in. Yeah. That's a brutal division. That's a gauntlet of a division. But it's still a good ball club. They're still going to win games. They're going to beat up on a lot of bad teams. They just, I just don't think they can do enough to be a legitimate contender for a wild card or in that division because of who they're surrounded by. Like, they're the 4th best team in their division, no matter how good they are.
Right. Not saying they're bad either.
It just doesn't matter. You got to, unless you're going to go win 95 games, you've got no shot.
Yeah, agree. All right, Jose Ramirez. So homers 3 times Friday night in Anaheim. When do fans start really recognizing what kind of player J-Ram is?
I mean, I feel like we ask this question every year, and I feel like I feel like the fans now know him more than they have in the past, and he's getting more attention than he ever has. I think the problem is that it's Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's in a small market on a team that is good, but a team that just isn't must-see TV. Like you're not sitting there and seeing the Indians come up on, or Guardians come up on Sunday Night Baseball. Jeez, I kept slip the Indians in there again. See the Guardians come up on Sunday Night Baseball, and you're like, oh my goodness, I got to watch that. You don't have that reaction.
Yeah.
But he's easily one of the top, easily top 10 player in baseball, and does so much good for that organization and that team. There's just a general lack of interest in Cleveland because they're not an exciting team to watch. They're not flashy. They play a boring brand of baseball. That's actually, if you like baseball, it's a good brand of baseball to watch. But the average fan does not want to tune in to a pitcher's duel and a bunch of ground balls and quick innings. Like, it's just not exciting.
Yeah. For me, it's hard because he was one home run shy of 40-40 last year.
Yep. And
no one talked about it. No one talked about him almost have a 40-40 season. And it's like, what I get everything you just said. He's in Cleveland, small market. The Guardians aren't one of the best teams in the league, although you could argue they might be. I just don't know if he ever reaches that high ceiling, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know if he ever gets the notoriety he deserves.
Yeah, and he won't. He won't in Cleveland. I think if you put him in LA, New York, Boston, Chicago, his jersey's everywhere. But he's in Cleveland. Like, there's just not a lot of excitement to baseball in Cleveland. Although the team's been really good, it just doesn't draw attention. And it's not a huge fan base either. Like, Cleveland is a decent sized market, but like you look at LA and Boston and New York, like people are wearing Yankees hats all over the country, Red Sox hats all over the country, Dodgers hats all over the country. You can barely find a Cleveland hat in Cleveland. It's just not a super excited fan base, and it's not a very big fan base.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Aaron Judge has the same amount of home runs through the same amount of games as Babe Ruth. Now, I'm not trying to slight Aaron Judge in the least here, but he is not Babe Ruth, right? Ruth was 26 when he reached this number. Judge is 32. That's a huge difference, right? Would you agree with me there?
I would, yes.
So he's not Aaron Judge. He's not Babe Ruth. Is Aaron Judge one of the best hitters that we've seen in our lifetime? Oh, yeah, 1,000%. Not trying to slight him in that way. But can we stop using this? I've seen this all over social media this week. Oh, he reached it in the same amount of games as Babe Ruth. Yes, he did, but it doesn't matter. Aaron Judge is going to have all he can do to reach 600 career home runs. We tried to break it down a few months ago, I think, in the offseason. Like, what does Aaron Judge's career home run total look like? What does he reach? He's 32 years old. Does he have realistically 5 or 6 more years of, I'll say it on the low end, 40 plus homers a year? So that would get him barely over 500.
Yeah, I think he's a 550 guy. I think 550 is probably his ceiling.
Yeah, so I don't.
I can appreciate the comparison. Like, the same number of games as Babe Ruth, great, cool. Babe was several years younger. Babe was also pitching. And Babe, I think it took Babe one less season than it took Aaron Judge because Judge has missed time. But at the end of the day, like, you're not comparing apples to apples here. Like, it's a cool stat,
right?
But you're measuring very different points in time. And I think we forget. And Babe Ruth is a tough one too, because the first 5 years of his career, he didn't do anything at the plate. Like, he was just pitching.
Right.
He didn't really start hitting until his 5th or 6th season, and then things took off. Obviously, we know the numbers. He did what he did in such a small window of time. It was really a 12-year time frame. He did 80% of his production. It's just you're not comparing the same thing.
No, and I think that's where I get like, I wouldn't even say upset about it, where I'm just like, all right, can we just stop with these comparisons, because it doesn't really even make sense. They're at like two different points in their career, right? Judge's on the back nine. Ruth completed this on the early in the front nine. So like, as you said, like I can appreciate the stat, but at the same time, like it really doesn't make sense to put it in there or even compare them, because they're so vastly different at different points in their career. But
yeah, well, and it's fair. Like you're just comparing because it's convenient, because they're both Yankees, and I totally agree. You would make that comparison any other reason than the fact you've got the overlap of the Yankees.
Yeah,
totally fair.
Yep.
And it's a cool stat. Like it's a neat stat to see. Like, hey, Aaron Judge won the same pace as Babe Ruth. Circumstances are way different, but it's a cool stat.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Harrison. You control the comments tonight. I'm like, I look like Rafael Devers in the first part of the season. I'm like,
whiffing.
I'm like 0 for 21 tonight. All right. Yeah.
And this is a great point. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, you can't compare this generation to Babe Ruth or anyone in that time frame back then. You had people drinking liquor in the dugout and throwing meatballs down the middle. I mean, you're not wrong. At 75 miles an hour. Not
swinging telephone poles at ballparks that were insanely oddly shaped, and the game was so different. And we have that debate all the time. Like, would Babe Ruth even be able to hit the ball in today's game? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Babe could play today. I don't know if Aaron Judge could have played back then. Not sure.
Right.
But you didn't. This is a generation of players who have played travel ball and had all the technology and the launch angle measurements, and every generation it's different. The game evolves, and it's not like it used to be.
Yeah, and you're 1,000% correct here. Like baseball players had to go, work at a shop after the season. They had to, run a store or work in the mill. Like these guys are they're career baseball players. That's what they do. They don't have to do anything in the off season anymore.
These guys didn't get paid. These guys didn't get paid a thing to play. They were working stiffs like everybody else. They just played baseball for part of the year, and then they worked regular jobs in the off season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you didn't have the benefit of year-round training and all the technology and the training and the nutrition, and that didn't exist.
No,
these guys were smoking a pack a day and drinking themselves stupid at night. And then getting up the next day and jumping on a train to travel to their next games. Like, not the same game.
Yeah. Babe would be playing independent ball for the Bridgeport Bluefish. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, he probably would.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Chase Dolander records his first MLB win in his MLB debut. He gave up a few runs, but I watched a little bit of his start. And he's got some pretty nasty stuff too. He's got high velocity, great off-speed stuff. I think he's going to play well. He's been their top prospect for a while here, and came up for a start with the Rockies and looked decent. So that's a tough A's team. I don't care what you say. That A's team's got some hitters on it, and they're a scrappy lineup. I know they're the A's. I get it, but he looks pretty good.
Yeah, the A's are legit, and this is an impressive stat no matter where you play or who you're playing for, who you're playing against. Like you're playing the best in the world, whether they're the worst team in baseball, they're still the best. Several hundred players in the world. You're talking 30, 26-man rosters of the best players in the world. So still impressive either way.
Yep.
And at risk of derailing the whole show, Nick, I saw this the other day and I have to share it.
All right, let's go.
Babe Ruth, when he was voted into the Hall of Fame, he was voted in on 215 of 226 ballots. That means 11 writers at the time did not vote Babe Ruth into the Hall of Fame. Just wanted to share that.
Smart writers.
Yeah. So the writers have been just as terrible throughout history as they are today.
I mean, that's pretty damn brutal.
How do 11 guys not vote Babe Ruth into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, at
the time he held every record there was at that point.
And he set every record at like each 100 mark. Like, I mean, My
Ridiculous.
goodness, that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Nuts. All right, here's my boy. Placed on the 10-day IL with a hamstring. I hate this. As I said, favorite player to watch right now. And it was just on like base running, I believe. He was just going into second base and tweaked a hammy. So Catel is on the 10-day. We don't know exactly when he's coming back. But wouldn't be surprised if the Diamondbacks kind of slowly bring him back into it as well. Although he is a huge catalyst in that lineup, who am I to say anything? But we will see. But injury there.
This is a devastating loss, both for Catel Marte and the Diamondbacks, but also for baseball.
Yeah.
Like another player where baseball is just better when he's in it. And the game is better. And he's such a big part of the Diamondbacks too. I mean, they will be fine while he's gone because that team is so deep, but that is such a big loss. And I hope this is only a 10-day IL. These hamstring things can drag on for weeks and weeks, and hopefully it doesn't.
Well, I don't know. They've lost both games since he's left, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Yep.
All right, and then Jack Leiter, after 2 great starts, looked really good against the Red Sox, shut out the Reds, in that scoreless inning streak, so take it as you will. He was placed on the IL. This kid kind of got rocked in the minors last year, and they weren't sure how he was going to translate to the big leagues, and he's come up and he's looked good. This is a tough blow for the Rangers, and does this start the snowball of starting pitching injuries for the Rangers?
I don't think this is for blisters. So this is one of those like goofy. He's got a blister on his middle finger that got really, really bad. So they're having to shut him down just to get it all healed up. So it's kind of a silly injury. But again, like it's an injury for the Rangers, and this is what they're known for. It's the piling up of silly injuries. But what's interesting is, did you see who they called up in his place?
No.
Patrick Corbin.
Oh, there we go. All right.
So Patrick Corbin, although he wasn't in the minors very long, is ramped up enough to come start. So it opens the door for Patrick Corbin to make a return. I don't expect a lot out of him, but I do. This is a silly injury. It stinks because Leiter was off such a great start. I don't think it's a trend, but we didn't think it was a trend last year either, and or the last 2 years, and the Rangers just had him pile up. So I don't.
Right.
I'm not ruling anything out at this point.
Right. Might be a silly little blister, but then turns into something else, and then somebody else goes down, then somebody else has a blister, and it just kind of snowballs from there. But I hope he comes back soon because his starts were fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Staying with the AL here, Blake Snell placed on the IL with shoulder inflammation. Is this the start of the Dodgers pitchers not being able to stay on the field, or is this rest related? Now, the Dodgers are deep, right? So could this just be like, hey, we're going to skip a start or two. We'll get your shoulder calmed down. Or is this maybe a bigger issue for Snell?
I feel like for Snell, this is a track record for Snell. He's dealt with this stuff his whole career. He seems to come up against these stretches where he's got either inflammation or just soreness. So I think I'm not surprised. It is early though to already have inflammation. This may just be a spring training hangover. I don't know, but it does beg the question. We laughed when they signed him. Great. Another injury prone guy added to the rotation. Mm-hmm. Here he is already missing time. I think this is who Blake Snell is, but I also think it's true for the entire Dodgers rotation. It is Glasnow can't pitch a full season. Blake Snell very rarely pitches a full season. Yamamoto hasn't pitched a full season yet. Maybe he will. Gonsolin and May coming back off major injuries. Kershaw, we know the story there. They don't have anybody you can rely on to be out there for 33 starts a year. They just don't have that person.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is inevitably the Dodgers are going to have a bunch of pitchers on the IL at any point in the season. This is just more of that. They're so deep, it doesn't matter. So it's kind of like, oh, he's out, whatever. Like they're just going to pop somebody else on there.
Yeah, Glass looked funky today too. I didn't get to see him, but he said second inning couldn't throw a strike, walked 5 guys, didn't look right.
Yeah, he does not look ready to be back.
No.
And I was reading, might have been, I'll see if I can't find the article. It might have been something I found on Twitter too, or X, whatever they call it now. That he's still very much getting back into rhythm and shape.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of they're letting him kind of do it on the fly, which is not normally what you'd want to do, but he looked horrendous, just horrendous. And it just, Sasaki did too, looked better last outing, but the Dodgers pitching has actually not been that impressive to start the season. It hasn't had to be, but
Right.
if that pitching is so deep, they'll be fine, but they've had a kind of a rough start to the season.
Yeah. John, I was going to bring this up. So if you haven't seen it, Victor Robles in San Francisco makes a great play on a ball in the corner, like where the brick comes and meets the sidewall there, reaches over, catches it, and falls into the net. And he falls into the net awkwardly, where his like wrist bends back, but it looks like it jams his entire like left arm back into his shoulder. And he comes kind of tumbling out of the net, gets down on the field, and he's holding his arm. The runners are meanwhile just going around the bases because he's just in so much pain. He kind of takes the ball out and like just chucks it, just trickles it back into the infield. And they had to end up walking him off the field. They were actually calling for the cart when they started to just walk him to the dugout. But it was a great play. It sucks that he could be out for an extended period of time if it is like a shoulder separation or sublux or whatever, because that Mariners lineup can't afford for that guy, especially to go out. Then you're really just banking on Julio and Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it's all you got. Like you're not deep, and losing the one guy who's actually been hitting for you at the start of the season would be devastating.
Wait, it was his throwing hand? I thought it was on the catch. I thought it was his left shoulder that he was holding.
Well, it's shoulder, but I think he's talking wrist too.
Oh, gotcha. So, but either way.
Either way, he got pretty banged up. It was a great play.
Yeah.
But got banged up pretty good.
Yeah. And I don't know if he does if that net's not there. Like there's no fans sitting in that section. I don't think there's really any use for that net to be there at that section of the field. But I mean, I'm not saying take the whole net down, but that section really doesn't need to be there. But
no.
Whatever.
And I am so with you here. I just want to see the Dodgers Yankees be bad. Like there's no two teams in baseball or in all sports I root harder against than the Dodgers and Yankees.
Yep.
Just because I want to see somebody else win.
Yeah.
And this is a great idea, Evan. The Dodgers could bring back Trevor Bauer if they get in a pinch for pitching. I like to bring him up about every 6 weeks on this show just to make Nick's head spin.
All right.
Because I'm actually somebody who believes Trevor Bauer should be in the league, getting another shot, and Nick is not interested in bringing the circus to town. So we agree to disagree on that one.
Talent-wise, yes, he should be in the league. Everything else that comes with Trevor Bauer, not in the league. Moving on.
We'll get him there one day. Don't worry.
Yeah, not going to happen until he signs tomorrow. But all right, here we go. You ready for some MLB trivia?
Let's do it.
Please help Harrison in the chat. Here we go with the first one. Which slugger had exactly 40 home runs each year from 2005 to 2008?
This feels like a Nelson Cruz or A-Rod although I know A-Rod didn't need more than that. It was 40 exactly?
Ooh. 40 exactly. He played the first 3 years on the Reds and then got dealt at the deadline of his 4th year.
Oh, so not Votto. Is this your favorite player, Jay Bruce? No?
Not Jay Bruce.
No, I don't think Jay Bruce ever hit 40.
No,
Man, not 40 in total.
Not Ortiz, not Tommy.
This is a red.
I mean, pretty prolific.
Oh, is this
power.
Adam Dunn?
It is Adam Dunn. Yes, exactly 40 home runs.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Nice job, John. John got it.
Oh, nice. Oh, and captain. There we go. Rolling in. Here we go. April 13th, 1954. Bobby Thompson, who hit the shot heard around the world, broke his ankle in a game against the Yankees. Which rookie replaced him in the lineup that day?
Oh, boy.
So he wasn't on the New York Giants. I'll give you that, because that's where he hit the shot heard around the world. But he got
okay.
traded. He got traded to a different organization.
Didn't he
And
end
then-
with the Braves?
So
Braves rookie. It's got to be Hank Aaron.
It was Hank Aaron. Yeah, good. Yep, Hank Aaron. Good.
Imagine being subbed out for Hank Aaron.
Yep. And then he never looked back.
Yeah, that was it. You
Yeah.
never got your spot back after that.
Yeah. All right, next one. Alex Rodriguez and Albert Pujols share the record for most home runs in the month of April, with two current players with 14 each. Who are the two current players that share the record with them, both achieving this in 2019?
All right, so two players hit 14 home runs in 1 April. So 2019, is that like is Mookie in there, Freddie in there?
Nope.
Is this a Brewers color?
It is a Brewers color.
So is that Yelich?
Yelich is one.
Who else? 2019. Just like a Goldschmidt or a Pujols.
Nope. Not Schwarber. Good guess.
Oh, Schwarber's a good guess.
Dodgers.
Oh, is this Bellinger? Is that his MVP year?
It is Bellinger. Yes. Good.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Christian Yelich and Cody Bellinger tied the record with 14 in the month of April, which Aaron Judge should beat by next week.
Anthony Volpe might beat it.
There's no mites about
it. Nice job, John. Oh, Marcus Timms. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Timms was
yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a good one.
He's been on the trivia. He's made the trivia before, too.
He has. Yelich is another one of those guys. Like, I would love to have seen what he could have accomplished if he hadn't missed so much time.
Yeah, it's too many injuries. Because 2018, 2019, he was lights out. He was so good. So good.
Yeah.
And then just has been
Insanely
hurt since. Yeah. All right. Next one. Who was the last team to hit 4 consecutive home runs in a game? Bonus if you can give me the 4 players.
Didn't the Red Sox do it?
Nope. More recent than that.
Oh. The Reds?
Not the Reds.
Cardinals?
Cardinals, yes. Once I start rattling off the names, or if you get them, you'll probably...
Is this like Pujols, Edmonds? Is this that group?
Nope, more recent than that. Two of them are still playing for the Cardinals. One just got traded.
Arenado, Goldie.
Arenado is the first one.
No Goldie.
No Goldie. Second baseman.
Edmund?
Not Edmund, but the other one. Or outfielder. I think he kind of goes in both.
Walker or Donovan?
Nope.
Nootbaar?
Nope. Nolan Gorman.
Oh, Gorman. Okay.
Gorman. And then the last two are tough. I don't know if you'd ever pull them. Juan Yepes.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull that one.
And Dylan Carlson.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So those are the 4.
Nolan Gorman has some thump.
Yep. They did that in 2022.
Wow. That's 4 in a row is going to be so demoralizing to the pitcher.
Right. And it was the same pitcher that gave up all 4 too. Just like the Red Sox against the Yankees that night.
That's brutal.
Yep. All right. Which player has hit a home run in the most MLB ballparks throughout their career with 45?
And this has got to be. Oh wait, I go with the color too. So my immediate mind goes to like McGuire, Nelson Cruz, Bonds, A-Rod, guys that are around a long time.
But also all those stadium switches too when this guy played. And expansion.
Yeah, Adam Dunn.
Think Mark McGuire. This guy's always linked to Mark McGuire.
Sammy.
It is Sammy, yes. Yep. 45 ballparks.
That's impressive.
Yep.
Beltre, that's a good one, John. Good guess.
Yep. Oh, nice. Evan
got Sammy.
Nice. All right. What is the record for most home runs hit in a single day for every MLB team combined? Hint, a couple players raced to this number.
Did Sammy and Mark race to this number? Is it 62?
It is 62, yes. Good. July 2nd, 2002, there were 62 home runs hit across MLB.
So in 15 games, that's roughly 4 per game. That's a lot of home runs.
That's a boatload.
That's a lot of home runs.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. It was a cool stat.
Oh, man.
All right. This next one's going to be an absolute pull. Just letting you know.
Great.
All right. 3 players in MLB history have thrown a no-hitter and an immaculate inning in the same season. Sandy Koufax, Mike Fiers, and who?
Oh, good Lord. So let's think of guys. So like Maddox, Glavine.
And it's recent. This guy actually still pitches. I'll even give you the team. Still pitches for the Angels.
Oh goodness, this is like a Tyler Anderson.
Nope, but stay as a lefty.
So Sandoval's gone, so not him. To come up with a lot of right-handers. Who am I missing as a lefty? Not one of the Matons.
Nope. He was a starter. I think he's pitching out of their bullpen right now. That's
Rogers?
when I just saw him pitch the other night for the Angels. No.
Yeah, not a Rogers.
No.
Who's pitching out of their bullpen? I don't. There was a lefty that pitched the other night, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, as soon as I pull up the name, then if you were watching the same game I was, yes, he got it. Reed
Detmers. I completely forgot about him. Yeah, he did pitch the other night.
Yep, and he had a no-hitter in 2022 and an immaculate inning.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's not a name I would have pulled.
Yeah, I told you. Too. Yeah, I told you that would have been a deep pull.
Oh, yeah, he did. He pitched the other night. I saw him.
Yep. Yeah, just from the question alone, it was going to be a deep pull. Yep. So,
yeah. John, I'm pretty sure anytime we hear somebody say no hitter, I immediately think it was thrown against the Mariners.
Yeah, facts.
But it probably was.
Yep. All right, next one. Who was the first manager to win a game at Petco Park?
It's just like Bochy.
So it's kind of a trick question because it's not an MLB manager.
Oh, it's any game.
Who was the first manager to win a game?
Was it San Diego State that won the game? And that would be Tony Gwynn.
It was, yes, San Diego State.
That's right.
Yeah, won the first game.
Yeah, San Diego State actually opened the ballpark.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, all right.
That's cool.
Who was the most recent Baltimore Orioles pitcher to throw a no-hitter?
Oh, it was our buddy Mr. Means.
It was John Means. Good.
And that was what the last start he's made?
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
That's all right. Disappointing.
Yep. Who has the most plate appearances without being hit by a pitch with 3,664?
Oh, man. Luis Alicea.
Great name drop.
I just wanted to throw that name in there because
I know.
It's one of those random names that keeps popping in my head.
This keeps circling around Facebook, and I just find this an absolutely mind-numbing stat.
This is going to be one of those like lesser guys, bottom of the order guys, contact guy, like a Bellhorn, like a Xavier Nady, like a
Think Braves in the 90s.
Braves, Walt Weiss.
Great guess. Not him.
So it can't be Chipper. He got hit plenty.
He was Jeff Blauser's double playmate.
Oh, he played for the Red Sox too at one point, didn't he?
Maybe a brief time.
Oh,
Switch hitter,
yeah.
tiny guy.
Yeah, I want to say Jeff Fry, not Jeff Fry. It's Lemke, Mark Lemke.
Yes, Mark Lemke. Yep, good. Little man Temple, close. All right. More
Trent Grisham, nice.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Who are the two current players that are 40 years old or older?
So Verlander.
Sorry, position players. Who are the two current position players that are 40 years old or older?
I was like, Verlander. You were looking at me funny on that one. Okay. Position players 40 years old or older. Goldie's not over 40, right? Goldie's in his 30s.
Yep.
Say JD Martinez isn't playing. I don't think he's 40 yet either. Moyer. I mean, he should still be playing.
Think Padres and Cubs.
Padres and Cubs. Padres and Cubs.
Turner is one.
Oh, Justin Turner. Yeah, I forgot about the fact he turned 40.
Santana's a good guess, not Santana.
Yeah, he's 39. Is Yuli Gurriel still around?
Yes, Gurriel signed in the offseason.
Right, he got re-signed. He's been old for a long time.
Facts. Yeah. So yeah.
Justin Turner, good pull, John.
Yep, great one.
I forgot he turned 40.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, Carlos Santana is 39. I think he turns 40 later this season.
Yeah, that was a great guess.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Before Carson Kelly's cycle against the A's this year, who was the last Cubs player to hit for the cycle?
Say Swanson hasn't. Belly didn't. Did Happ do it?
Nope. Before him.
Like, all right, let's go back. So I'm trying to think good hitters in Cubs history. So Aramis Ramirez, Sammy Sosa.
Around that era.
Mark Grace?
Mark Grace.
Gracie.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Mark Grace legging out a triple. I'd love to see it.
If it gets stuck down in that right field corner at Wrigley, he can get there.
That's true. I mean, he was not exactly a fast runner.
No.
Great hitter, but.
Yeah. All right, Harrison. They're back.
Yes, I love these.
MLB picture puzzles.
I love it.
Here we go.
Bring it on.
So if you guys don't know how this works, I put up a few random pictures, but it's supposed to represent their name. So I either dissect their name a little bit or you'll kind of see how the clues work.
Yep.
So here we go. Here's the first one.
Okay. Is that the Fast and Furious guy, Paul Walker?
Yep.
So it's Paul. There's Steve Young. So Young or Steve. Is that a calendar?
Uh-huh. It's circling.
A certain day is circled. Oh, Paul DeYoung?
Yes, it's Paul DeYoung. Good.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Who is this MLB player?
Jordan Compassberger.
You're actually really close.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're really not far off.
Is it Jordan?
It is Jordan.
All right, Jordan. Oh, Westberg.
Yes, Jordan Westberg. Good.
I was like, what am I missing?
Yep, Jordan Westberg. Good. All right, next one. Who is this MLB player?
So is that Silver at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Toe hitch and a rooster. Oh, is this my boy Sterling Hitchcock?
It is totally Sterling Hitchcock. Good. Yep. Good. Sterling Hitchcock.
Nice.
All right. I got 2 more for you. Here's the next one. Who is this MLB player?
Graham crackers. So Graham. So I can't imagine anybody goes by cracker.
Well,
maybe Graham ashtray. Oh, Graham Ashcraft.
yes, Graham Ashcraft. Good.
Yeah, he's got John and Cap'n jumping on these in the chat.
Yep. All right. And who is this MLB player?
Anytime you can get Al Bundy in there twice. Who is the Bulls player? Oh, is that Steve Kerr?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Al. Oh, Al Albuquerque.
Yes, good. Crushed that one. Yes, Al Albuquerque.
Oh, God.
Love these. God,
They're so good.
I love making those, dude. They're so much fun.
Good. I love them.
But yeah. All right, that's trivia for tonight. Do you have anything else to add before we head out for the evening?
I got a couple of quick items for you. So, actually, I guess a few quick items for you. So, one, the Braves today did activate Sean Murphy. So Murphy is back. Chadwick Tromp got designated for assignment, meaning he'll likely clear waivers and go to the minors. But Murphy coming back for the Braves is huge.
Yep.
As the Braves get healthier, I think their season will turn. You got Strider coming up behind him and Acuna behind him, so it should be a good few weeks here to get guys back. When he was asked about the torpedo bats, Rob Manfred had come out and said basically he thinks that torpedo bats are good for baseball. He thinks it's only fair that hitters are able to kind of build a bat that works for them. He does not believe that this is an issue. It's not an issue that they have on their list of things to tackle this year or discuss. He thinks they're good for baseball. He obviously likes the offense. Obviously realizes the hitters are at a disadvantage because of the way how far pitching has come. And also views this as a great promotional tool for baseball because Victus, who makes the bats, is selling a boatload of them. They're the official bat maker of MLB. The torpedo bat only makes their sponsorship more valuable to MLB, so therefore it's actually a financial win for MLB as well to pump out the torpedo bats. So let that sit in the back of your mind for a second, that MLB likes the bats, and they especially love the fact that their official partner is selling a bunch of them, which tells me MLB has a financial incentive in the torpedo bat being a success. Mm-hmm. And therefore, this is not something the league's going to take away because they're actually apparently backing it. So let that thought sit in the back of your brain for a minute.
So let me ask you this question, and it might not be a great comparison, but I want to ask it anyways. Mm-hmm. The hitters are allowed to change the shape of their bats and kind of doctor their bats, right, to fit their needs.
Correct.
Why aren't the pitchers allowed to use sticky stuff then to doctor their needs?
Because they're changing the performance of the equipment versus just the design.
Aren't they changing the performance of the bat?
I mean, they're changing the performance of the bat within the standard. So changing the barrel shape is not new. If you look back, and Manfred pointed to a couple of examples, players have moved the sweet spot around the bats for years. This goes back into the 90s. Guys had custom designed bats with different tapering, different sizing. So the torpedo bat's not new. This concept's been around baseball for a long time. The fact that the torpedo bat is caught on is what's interesting. But go back to what he said. It's good for baseball because Victus, their sponsor, is selling a bunch of them.
Right.
So the torpedo bat is very much, it seems like, an animal of the support it's getting versus the actual bat itself. But there are players that had different tapers, different angles, different sizes, players that hit with skinnier bats, wider bats, all within the rules. So this is not new to baseball. This has happened for a long time. The torpedo bat's just the first one that's gotten more widespread appeal and also gotten a lot of attention. I do believe that there is some level of support from baseball on this, which is why they're making a big deal out of it. And Manfred also pointed out the fact that this bat's been around not just last year, even before that. Giancarlo Stanton and Francisco Lindor have used torpedo bats even going back to 2023. They've been experimenting with this bat for a while.
Yeah.
But Stanton and Lindor have also experimented with other types of bats too. So this is not new. This whole concept is not new, but it definitely seems like MLB has an interest in the torpedo bat.
Well, it also helps that, the top 3 hitters for the Yankees at that time, go back to back to back. They put up 33 runs in 2 days, and 6 out of the 9 of them are using torpedo bats, right? Like, I think that's what kind of sparked the whole revolution of it, I guess, if you will. The Yankees just put up 33 runs. Well, yeah, I mean, a little league team would have put up 33 runs against Nestor Cortez that day. I mean, but it just kind of brought it to the forefront.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez was put on the IL today for a flexor strain, which we laughed. Really, just his code for whiplash.
Yeah.
From all the home runs he watched sail, and he was also awful in the start after that. So the Yankees absolutely feasted on bad pitching, and the torpedo bat I don't think had a lot to do with it. But even Manfred said, like, fans want to see a more balanced game. The pitchers have dominated baseball the last few years. The players are trying to find a way to get an edge. We're all for that. A balanced game is better. It's a better quality game. Fans like the game. We like the bat. So MLB has no interest right now in discussing whether it's going to stay in play or not. As far as they're concerned, it's good to go. It's available to all 30 teams. All players can pick them from Victor's anytime they want. They can also take other variations. There's torpedo bats with more weight at the end, torpedo bats that are more centered. There's also traditional bats. They don't expect everybody to use the torpedo bat, but they do think it's a good application for some players. MLB definitely has an interest in this bat.
For sure.
And he also mentioned in his comments that they are full speed ahead preparing for the ABS system in 2026.
They
are the results this spring, he said, were very good, very promising. The umpires union has very few objections to it. There's a couple of tweaks they're going to make to how it's set up and used, but they are moving towards a 2026 launch of ABS across MLB.
I mean, we saw that coming. I mean,
yeah, no surprises there, but
with it being in the minors for the last 2 or 3 years, and then as soon as we heard they were doing it in spring training, we're like, yeah, we'll see this next year.
Yeah.
The only thing that we weren't sure of was the umpires union and the potential lockout coming out with the MLBPA. Those were kind of the only 2 hurdles, but it sounds like he doesn't really need MLBPA's approval, apparently.
He doesn't need the Players Association approval. He needs the Umpires Association approval, because this is a rule change that only pertains to how they operate. So
makes sense.
MLBPA is kind of informational only. You guys need to know, but you don't have to vote. The Umpires Association actually has to vote. So for what it's worth. But yeah, so that's full speed ahead. And then kind of a cool stat. Ian Happ yesterday played in his 1000th Major League game. Every single one of them with the Cubs.
Yep.
Pretty cool to see a guy with longevity with one team. The fans took a moment to honor him. Very cool moment. Very cool stat for him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been 1,000 games for Ian Happ already.
I know. It feels like it's been a few years.
Yeah, that's crazy. I heard that too. I think I was watching the telecast when they were talking about it, but I didn't see the moment he got to take it in with the fans. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. And then just real quick, the Blue Jays and Vlad Jr. continue to talk. Apparently, they're getting closer to a $500 million contract. And the Cubs have also begun conversations with Kyle Tucker. The thinking is that contract will go north of 500, potentially approaching the 550 to $600 million range.
Sheesh.
I don't know how, but the Cubs have at least begun the conversation of, okay, what does it take to keep you here?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Cubs have to, right? I think both teams have to be completely honest.
I agree. These are top 10 players in all of baseball. You don't let them walk for nothing.
Mm-mm. No. And if you can't reach an agreement, you have to trade them. Have to. Yes. Unless you're in a pennant race. If you're in a pennant race, I can see kind of being like, all right, we'll hang on to them and pay the price if we don't win. Like I can understand that. But if you're out of it and you don't have a shot, you got to trade him for a haul because you will get a massive return for both of them.
Yes.
So
I would totally agree.
But yeah, it's crazy. Which one do you think has a better chance of getting done, if any?
I think the one most likely to get done is Vlad, only because he is younger. He has made it very clear he'd like to stay in Toronto. I think Toronto Blue Jays want him there. I don't think Kyle Tucker has necessarily said, "Yeah, I want to be in Chicago." I think he's just like, "Hey, I'll listen." So I think Vlad's the easier one to get done. I think Tucker's more complicated.
I would agree with that. I think I kind of want them to get signed to extensions because I don't want another free agent season like we just had last year with Soto and last year with Ohtani.
No.
And these two guys, it would be times two. These two guys would be demanding pretty similar money. And it would be, you want to talk about waiting to sign? These guys wouldn't sign until the end of January, beginning of February, because they're going to wait for the other one to sign first before they set their market. Like we'd be in for a longer offseason potentially if they're both free agents. And I don't want to sit here and wait for that. So, and it jacks up the market for everybody else, like badly. So
yeah,
I would like them both to sign extensions.
And I don't think MLB's got the juice for another offseason like that. I think there's too many teams that are just going to be like, we're not even playing.
Yeah, I agree. The 2 straight years of that stuff, and they're tired of it. I mean, they were already kind of bitching about it this year. You know, you had 25 teams being like, "Yeah, we're out," and then the Cardinals are just like, "Wait, why are you making us sign a free agent? Like, we can't pay these prices. Like, why would we want to go out and pay these prices?" You know, then the MLBPA like yells at them for not signing a free agent. It's like, well, they're asking too much money. Why would we sign them?
Yeah, there's no there's no market for those guys aside from the same 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah, but I don't know. We will see. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it. There's been a lot of good baseball the last week or so.
Yeah.
I know we didn't mention it, but Logan O'Hoppy's got a home run in 4 straight games for the Angels. Another young guy.
Hopefully he can stay on the field, stay healthy, because he's had injury issues the last couple of years as well.
Yep.
So
I've
taken a chance on him in fantasy, and he's burnt me the last 2 years with injuries. So
yep. Yeah, and actually, John, this is a really good point. We talked about a few weeks back that the looming 2026 stoppage, I think, will cause teams this offseason to be a little bit more cautious with what they do, because I think they're all expecting the rules to change after 2026. Maybe not a salary cap, maybe just luxury tax with different rules, but I think teams are going to be hesitant to make huge contract offers staring down the barrel of a potential work stoppage and a reshuffling of the kind of that whole financial platform MLB is built on. So this next offseason is going to be really, really funky.
Yeah. So maybe that's another reason, you know, the agents just look at Tucker, look at Guerrero and be like, hey, listen, we got to get this done, because if we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Let's do it now. We know what the rules are versus wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. The Rays aren't going to sign either. I will say, I should have mentioned it. The Rays got the St. Petersburg approved the first $23 million in repair money Friday. So that repair is now back on schedule. And because of the way the lease is written, Tampa Bay has that ballpark till 2028 because they can't use it this year. This gets voided as a lease year and added later. So they're now at Tropicana through 2029.
All right.
So there's a little bit more time in Tampa for them to figure out what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
But the new ballpark is off. That deal is officially dead.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. I think Rob Manfred, if he wants to leave in 2029, he's not getting expansion teams in. If you're not getting Vegas in until what, 28 at the earliest, and then you're not getting the Rays in until, well, they'll be in hopefully to the start of next year, maybe a little bit later into the season next year. But you know, their lease is up in 29. You're going to have to figure out what to do with them. Do they extend the lease? Do they move? What do they do? You got too many moving pieces to bring in 2 new teams at this moment. I mean, hell, I could be wrong, but I don't know.
The one nice thing is that by extending the lease to 2029, it gives a market like Orlando the time it's going to need to actually put a new ballpark in place for an opening day.
Yeah, agree.
So it's there's a lot, and not only that, but if there's a work stoppage at the end of the 2026 season, none of this may matter. So there's a lot to figure out.
Facts. All right. Well,
here's one for you, Nick. Thoughts on Corey Seager?
He's still one of the best shortstop in baseball. I mean, I'm still not going to throw a fastball in the inner third to him. I don't care how bad he's slumping. I'm not going to do it. You're right. He has had kind of a slower start, but again, it's also, I mean, so did Devers, right? We were talking about Devers. Devers is 0 for 21. He was freaking like 5 for 7 today, and just peppering the Green Monster today. So that's baseball. I mean, the only thing with Seager is injuries with him. Maybe something's lingering, and he's trying to battle through it, and just hasn't been good. But when that dude is on, you can't get him out.
Yeah. Well, I think the one comfort in Corey Seager is he's not striking out a bunch. I think he's got 4 strikeouts in the last 5 games or whatever. It's not like he's up there hacking and flailing. Like, he's making contact. It's just not dropping in.
Yeah.
I do think that Corey Seager will be fine, and he just needs to get going. He has historically been a slow starter, if I recall. This is not like a shock, but I do think he'll be fine. He is, when healthy and ready to go, he is probably the best shortstop in baseball.
Yeah, I'd agree
if not
with that.
best, he's the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And actually, and you're right, Evan, about the Rays. If there's a work stoppage, that would also tack more time on the Tampa Leafs, because any season they don't play just gets added on. So yeah, this could be a bit of a puzzle for Tampa to solve.
Would it extend the lease though if the ballpark was ready and they had a work stoppage?
So,
or would it be like, no, the stadium's ready, like that's, you got to pay the lease?
Arguably, so it's gonna come down to what happens. So if it is a strike and the players walk away, and therefore no baseball can be played, it would likely still count. Or sorry, it would likely get rolled forward because the Rays can't play. If it's a situation where this work stoppage done by the owners, that gets into a gray area where it may still count as a year, because you could play if you wanted, but you chose to tell the players to go home. So it's a little tricky.
Yeah, I guess.
But so we'll see.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
Portland, Oregon, 2030. We're with you.
Yep, definitely. All right. Well, thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. As always, you guys are incredible, coming week after week, talking baseball with us. We love it. We will be on Thursday, probably be a Thursday night game on. I don't know, Thursdays are usually the light schedules, but we'll be on to talk about some news, talk some baseball during the week, more of a free form show on Thursday. But until then, keep your eye on the page. We have news, all our trivia questions that you saw tonight, you'll see on the page, and then you can look really, really smart when you leave a comment and get them all right. Just saying. But yeah, thanks again. You guys are awesome. And we'll be on Thursday night, probably around 9-ish. And until then, enjoy some baseball.
Yeah.
Before you go, if you haven't already, please like and follow our podcast on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. And we will see y'all Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.